Sonic Movie and Equestria Girls Chapter 15, The Final Battle to Save the Planet. Sonic and the others could only process the information that Sunset Shimmer had given them as the ground beneath started to shake once more.
How do we stop such a thing from happening?
We don't have much time. The arc is probably approaching the Earth at high velocity, and if we don't stop it in time, it will hit the Earth, killing everyone.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's stop this thing once and for all.
You guys go, I'll stay here with Eggman over here. Don't want this guy getting away this time.
Sonic could only give a thumbs up before turning to the others as they discussed their next course of action.
So what's the plan, y'all?
This thing activated when I gave the fake emerald to the cannon before it sunk into the lower levels. It's using that power to draw itself down to the Earth below us.
I'm guessing that to stop this thing from colliding to Earth, we'll need to use the real Master Emerald's power, which in turn will have enough power to stop the fake emerald and send this thing back into orbit.
I've checked a map for this place before we got here. Apparently deep inside the core of the arc is where the true power source is. Maybe we could stop it here.
But how could stop something like this? I don't know if we were capable enough to stop a space cannon from crashing.
Look, we're not strong enough to stop this on our own. But there's so much of us, or speed, or smarts, or strength, or bound is what we need to best this.
We make our last stand here. The world is depending on us.
This is our moment. Now let's go save the world.
Sonic and the others then got to work as they left the room as Tom and Maddie stayed on guard. While running there, Sunset Shimmer then ran the opposite direction as Twilight could only ask.
Sunset Shimmer, where are you going?
To find help, and I know just who to find.
Shadow arrived in the same spot as always as he looked down on the planet beneath him as he crossed his arms while saying,
"It's done, Maria. You have been avenged."
Shadow arrived in the same spot as always as he looked down on the planet beneath him as he crossed his arms while saying. A moment of silence engulfed the room as Shadow stared down to the earth beneath him as he reflected back on everything that led up to this point. He had finally achieved his goal. Soon the colony would crash against the planet and all life that exists on the planet below would disappear forever. Last, all that was left was to wait for the inevitable. From the reflection of the glass window, Shadow showed no emotions other than his usual dark and cold expression, with him just staring out into the dark and empty void of space. When the Black Hedgehog achieved his goal, he had thought that it would bring him closure for him and Maria. He had thought that once he had completed his part of the plan, he would feel the same happiness he had with Maria all those years ago. But yet, deep down inside Shadow's heart, he felt himself feeling certain emotions that he couldn't imagine he would feel again. Shadow could barely notice the frown forming on his face. From his perspective, he couldn't exactly describe why he was feeling this way. Yet, something felt wrong. Something kept bothering him even when he tried brushing those feelings away. The only question was, what was bothering him? As much as he wanted to figure that out, it would soon have to wait by the sound of footsteps approaching him in a rapid pace. The Black Hedgehog could only turn around to see it was no other than Sunset Shimmer standing in front of him.
What are you doing?
You've got to help us. Innocent lives are at stake, and we need all the help we can get to stop this thing. Please, Shadow.
Again with this?
Shadow had thought Sonic had tried reaching out to him earlier with that friendship stuff about making a new family and new friends. If Sonic had failed to reach out to him, what would make her any different?
Forget it. I couldn't care less what happens to the humans down there.
But there's innocent people down there. They'll die if we don't do something.
Doesn't matter. Once the space colony collides with the planet, everything will perish and I'll finally find peace. Once it all ends for all of us. The pain, the misery, the sorrow. It will all go away.
Committing mass genocide won't make those feelings go away, Shadow. All it will do is make you feel more of those feelings than ever before.
If that's what it takes for me to get my revenge, then so be it.
That's it, huh? The great Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form, is now breaking the one promise he made with a friend.
Who are you talking about?
Sunset could only tighten her fist as she yelled from the top of her lungs, her angry expression already becoming more present.
I'm talking about Marriott, Shadow. The person who you made a promise with 50 years ago. You really want to break her last dying wish, do you?
Enraged, Shadow turned around with an angry expression as he glared at the girl in front of him who stood her ground despite knowing that he could destroy her in a split second.
You humans don't have the right to tell me what she wanted. Not after what you humans did to her. How would you know anything about it?
Because I saw your memories, Shadow.
Shadow could only stare in confusion as Sunset Shimmer could only walk towards him as she explained.
You wanted to know about how my magic works? Well, here it is. Earlier when I put my hands on your shoulder, I was able to see your memories and feel the same emotions you felt. I know what happened here 50 years ago. What you went through, what you lost.
You lie. You think you know what's it like to be me? No matter what you try to tell me, the only thing left I desire now is for humanity to pay for what they did to us. She may not have wanted this, but I do.
Shadow, revenge won't bring her back. This won't solve anything.
So what? You humans deserve what's coming to you after what you did here.
Shadow, you can blame people of today for the things that happened 50 years ago. You really think she approve of what you're doing now? And to think, you would actually care for her. But here you are going behind her back by breaking her promise. Looks like I was wrong. You don't care about her, you only care about yourself.
Shadow then had enough as he stepped forward, which stopped Sunset Shimmer in her tracks as Shadow grabbed her collar before pulling her down as he spoke with such rage and sorrow.
Will you just shut up? You don't have the right to say her name, not after what happened. Maria was my only friend that I've ever had. But you humans sent soldiers to take her away from me. She wasn't a threat to anyone. All she wanted was to visit your planet, but she never had the chance. If Maria didn't have the chance to be happy, why should this pathetic planet have that chance?
Shadow, it's true that humanity isn't perfect. We've made mistakes down the line that have caused pain and suffering. But that's why we have the good people. People that have dreams and wishes that will overcome the bad. You are one of those people, Shadow. There's still time to make things right, so please, I'm begging you.
Shadow could look in shock as that feeling came back once more, the feeling of what he had lost long ago as he looked up to see Sunset Shimmer as he related the same words Maria had said.
Shadow, I beg of you for all the people who live on that planet. Give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams, Shadow.
Shadow could only have a look on with shock and disbelief after remembering his true promise to Maria.
Look, Shadow, I don't know what else I could say to convince you that humanity deserves a second chance. But I do know is that you're not just a science experiment gone wrong, nor do I think that you're just a weapon of mass destruction. Your old made you because he believed that you were the key to building a better world, a symbol of light when humanity reaches its lowest point. When that light fades and humanity needs a hero, there's only one thing that's left.
Shadow.
At that moment, Shadow the Hedgehog had felt for the first time since what happened on the Ark. A feeling that he hadn't felt since his days in the Ark. His mind had finally felt like it was at peace. Sunset Shimmer could only hug the black hedgehog in front of her as Shadow lowered his hands down while reflecting back on Maria's words. Despite Shadow wanting to deny her words and continue his quest for vengeance, deep down he knew that Maria wouldn't want that. His one and only friend shaped him to who he is now, a person who should protect those who couldn't protect themselves.
You don't have to be alone anymore, Shadow. We all came together to make things right, so please, help us keep the promise you made to Maria.
Shadow could only shed a tear while assigning his grip on his hands as he spoke in a soft tone. There it was again. A feeling that he never imagined would come back ever since he lost Maria all those years ago. It was sadness and for some weird reason, happiness.
They were right about Maria. She did want me to save you and this planet. That's why I was brought into this world.
Sunset Shimmer could only depart from the black hedgehog as Shadow wiped his tears before he showed a smile. With one quick motion, he immediately dashed off in top speeds to help the others.
I have to go. I have to keep the promise I made to Maria and to you.
Sunset Shimmer could only smile while wiping the tears from her face. She couldn't help but feel proud for the black hedgehog after helping him realize his true purpose was. Sunset Shimmer then got back up to her feet as she soon followed him. Back with the others, Sonic and the others made their way down to the core of the Ark as they stopped in their tracks after seeing what was in front of them. Up ahead laid a shrine as the fake emerald could be seen hovering above it, with the others wasting no time in stopping it. That was until something emerged from the waters below as they covered their eyes as water splashed all over them. The others then opened their eyes too, as to their horror, a giant lizard-like monster was blocking its path as it screamed at them.
What in the world is that thing?
Whatever it is, I don't think it'll let us pass.
I'm not letting that thing near the Master Emeralds.
Sonic was about to volunteer to face of the creature until he heard footsteps behind him as he looked back to see someone he never expected to arrive. The others watched in confusion as the figure looked back at all of them before, as Sonic could only say,
Shadow!
Sunset Shimmer could only emerge from the group as she explained to the blue hedgehog.
Don't worry, he's on our side now.
Leave the biolizard to me. You and the others stop that emerald.
Shadow then dashed at top speeds before jumping in the air while summoning red lightning bolts before brining it down on the creature, which screamed in pain.
Come on, guys! This is our only chance! Let's move!
Sonic and the others could only run past the battle that was taking place in front of them as they focused on the fake emerald as it continued to grow even more unstable.
What do we do now?
Knuckles, could you harness the power of the emerald?
I had much practice with its power, but I could try. But I would need outside assistance to help me control it.
Leave it to us. We'll lend you some of our magic to help.
Knuckles could only nod before summoning the emerald in the air as he spoke to the Master Emerald with a plead.
Master Emerald, please. I need you to help me in this time of need. Please stop this fake emerald and drains its power to return it to its rightful owner.
The other girls then held each other's arms before Ak held the red echidna's shoulder as they transferred some of their magic power to Knuckles, which aided him with handling the emerald. The red echidna struggles to control its power as his entire body started to glow red electricity.
I don't know if I could do this. My body can't take it.
Don't give up, Knuckles. We believe in you.
Push through your limits and give it all you've got, Knuckles.
Knuckles continued to struggle with using the Master Emerald, with Sonic and Tails doing the best they could to support him.
We all believe you can do this.
Our big brother never gives up.
With a hint of determination, Knuckles could only smile after hearing those words come out his friend's mouth. He made a vow to not only protect the Master Emerald but to protect the family that welcomed him in and made him feel at home. That's when he remembered those words his father spoke to him when he was still a boy, meaning that his moment would come to honor his people. This was this moment to honor them and his new family. Knuckles could only let out a battle cry before the Master Emerald started to glow green in color. Back with Shadow, the black hedgehog dodged a few balls of energy that the lizard threw at him before jumping on one of its life support system as he slid on it. Shadow could only jump in the air once more before performing a drop dash on the biolizard, which caused it to scream in pain. To finish the job, Shadow summoned more red bolts of lightning before bringing it down on the creature, which exploded on impact. Back with the others, thanks to the help of the girls' magic, Knuckles was able to use the Master Emerald power to deactivate the fake emerald as it dropped in the ground lifeless of any energy. Knuckles then fell back due to exhaustion, with Applejack helping him on his feet.
You did good, Knuckles, you did good.
I couldn't have done it without the help of you and the others. You are brave and noble warriors that helped me feel love after I lost it for so long. How would I ever honor your service?
We'll figure that out later, don't worry about it.
So wait, does this mean we won?
I guess it does. We did it.
The others could only cheer amongst one another. However, their victory was short-lived as they felt the ground beneath to shake once more. The creature that was left lifeless then started to fade away as the others could only wonder what was to happen now.
Oh, come on! What's happening now?
Sonic could only hear a voice as he checked his communicator to hear Tom's voice, which sounded like fearful and full of panic.
Sonic, are you there?
Hear you loud and clear, Donut Lord. What's the situation?
Whatever you were fighting down there is still alive. I don't know how, but it attached itself on the Ark. It's pulling us to the planet.
Well, what do we do now?
Sunset Shimmer could only be lost in her own thoughts before she saw Shadow approach Sonic. Both hedgehogs looked at one another before nodding as they closed their eyes as the Master Emerald could only shine brighter before separating into the 7 chaos emeralds as the emeralds then started to surround the duo. The girls could stare in amazement as the hedgehogs were lifted up into the air as Twilight Sparkle could ask.
What's happening to them?
Both hedgehogs have the ability to use the emerald's power. Witness the greatest warriors with the greatest power in the universe.
Both hedgehogs then opened their eyes once more as their eyes changed from their normal colors to pure red, therefore began to change to pure yellow with their wills lifting upward as both hedgehogs had transformed into something amazing.
Sunset, you and others head back upstairs. We'll take it from here.
Sonic and Shadow then teleported as the girls were left speechless from what they had just witnessed. However, this was no time for them to stay where they at as Sunset Shimmer was the first to spoke.
Well, you heard the super hedgehog. Let's head back upstairs.
Sonic and Shadow had teleported outside of the Ark as they saw the creature approach near the Earth as both rushed to defend it. The others had just made their way back as they could stare out the window as they witnessed the fate of their planet in front of them. But it wasn't just them. From the earth below them, many civilians watched the battle take place in the sky as the video of the two hedgehogs facing off against the large creature.
Shadow, you see those red spots on his body? Those could be his weakness.
Then let's focus on making this quick. We don't have much time left.
Alright, let's end this.
The biolizard then fired its lasers at them, which the super hedgehogs easily dodged with speeds, as Shadow was the first to attempt to assault the creature as he dodged the incoming lasers, before landing a hit on one of its red spots, which made it cry out in pain. In retaliation, the creature fired a bunch of laser towards Shadow as the black hedgehog could dodge the attacks one by one.
Sonic, I'll distract the beast for now. Aim for that weak spot.
Don't have to tell me twice, Shads.
Sonic then charged at the creature at full speed as he performed a spin-dashed attack, which hit the creature as it screamed in pain again. This time, however, the creature fired a beam at Sonic so fast that he was struck by the attack.
Sonic.
The smoke then cleared, revealing that Sonic had blocked the attack as he reassured the others that he was okay.
Man, even with the Emerald's power, that stings a bit.
Shadow then charged at the creature as he dodged a few of its lasers before he spin-dashed towards one of its red spots as he barely was able to dodge the attack on time.
Our hits are just ticking it off.
What are we gonna do? It's getting harder to hit the thing by the second.
Then let's change up our plan. I'll go right, you go left. It can't focus on the two of us at once because of its size. Strike when he aims for one of us. This will leave him open for one of us to strike.
I hope this works.
Sonic and Shadow then coordinated their attack, as when the other distracted the beast, the other would use this time to strike at the red spots. Sonic was the first to distract the beast. He circled around a laser beam before Shadow swooped in and hit the red spot again, causing it to cry in pain. When the creature tried to hit Shadow, the black hedgehog could only dodge the incoming lasers as Sonic dashed in full speed before hitting the same weak spot again. The creature then screamed in pain once more.
Alright, it's working.
Let's continue the assault then.
Sonic then distracted the creature as it attacked him relentlessly once more as it summoned more laser, which made it harder for Sonic to dodge all of them.
Hurry, Shadow. I can't hold this thing off for long.
Shadow then flew towards the creature as he noticed red orbs surrounding the creature as Shadow dodged each one that headed his direction before hitting the red spot once more before dashing away. From the space colony arc, the others could only watch in awe in what they were seeing as Sunset Shimmer could clench her hands together towards her chest as she prayed that both of them would be alright.
Sonic, Shadow, please be careful out there.
Sonic, we need to end this now. Let's hit this thing with everything we got.
Way out of you. Let's do this.
Sonic and Shadow then both performed a spin dash together as they swirled around one another as the creature was too weak to fight back due to the earlier attacks. In the end, they hit the creature one last time before it exploded on itself, which killed it instantly. There was just one more problem that remained, as the Space Comply arc was still heading towards the planet below them, with the people inside watching from the distance.
It's too late. The space colony arc is already heading down to the planet.
I can't look! We're gonna crash! The only thing that could save us now is if they could hold it off, but I don't know if Sonic or Shadow have been pushed to their limits like this before, especially in this state.
I know Sonic won't fail us. We just gotta have faith.
Sonic and Shadow could use their powers to the fullest, as from far away, everyone could see the bravery that the two hedgehogs had to protect their world. All around the Earth, many people started to cheer for the duo up in space as they cheered on during their battle. Sonic and Shadow raised their hands before the arc made contact with them.
Sorry, but Earth is close to dead for you, buddy.
We won't let you pass.
At that very moment, it almost like the whole Earth was cheering them on as everyone from the planet below them cheered on one more time. Both hedgehogs could feel the pressure of the arc as it came crashing down to Earth as they struggled to push it back. Sonic and Shadow could only groan in pain as they didn't know how much longer they would last, as they needed help fast. Sunset Shimmer was the first to notice this as she looked at the other girls who looked at her back.
We need to help them. They can't last much longer out there.
Everyone, convert all your remaining magic energy to Sonic and Shadow.
One by one, the girls then transformed as Tom and Maddie could only look in shock in what they were seeing. First Pinkie Pie, then Rarity, next was Opliak. This continued with Fluttershy, then Rainbow Dash, and finally Twilight, with all of them converting their magic power to Sunset Shimmer.
Did that just happen right now?
You get used to it.
Sunset Shimmer then gave their magic power to the hedgehogs outside as they felt a surge of energy hit them out of nowhere.
What the heck?
Where did this energy come from?
Both hedgehogs looked up to see from the distance to see Sunset Shimmer smiling at them as she did what she could to help them both. Shadow and Sonic could only smile while looking at one another. The sight of sunset shimmer reminded Shadow of Maria as those words came back to him.
Those people need you, Shadow.
Tears came down the black hedgehog's eyes before he unleashed his inhibitor ring before unleashing his full power. Sonic could only do the same as both hedgehogs used their full power to stop the ark from crashing on the earth below them with one final push. Both Sonic and Shadow teleported the ark as it disappeared from sight as a white light covered the surface below. It was quiet for a few moments as everyone wondered what could have happened. Moments later, the space colony ark reappeared, but only this time. It was back in orbit and no longer crashing down to Earth. Screams of joy and relief were heard around the world. The live recordings of the event were broadcasted from a distance from Sunset's Earth. Cheers were heard across Canterlot, with students of Canterlot High cheering the most. It was like the whole world had celebrated a victory that was given to them. Sonic sighed in relief before turning toward his rival.
We did it! We really did it, Shadow.
Unfortunately, Sonic looked over to see Shadow slowly losing his super state as he started falling down to the Earth's surface. Sonic flew in top speeds as he tried reaching his hand out to the black hedgehog. Sonic then grabbed his hand before falling as the black hedgehog could only look up at him.
Shadow!
What are you doing?
I'm saving your life. Now reach for my hand.
Sonic, stop. Just let me go. Let me die. I kept my promise to her. It's time I join her too.
No, I'm not losing anyone else, not again.
Please, go back to the Ark. Make them happy. Make her happy.
How could you say that when you're throwing your life away? You won't make Sunset happy, then you get your butt back on the Ark.
Sonic, we're running out of time. If you don't get back on that Ark, then you'll die along with me. Stop trying to save people you can't save and go back to the people you love. Go back to your family, Faker. They're waiting for you. Just like Maria is waiting for me.
Sonic could feel his grip on the black hedgehog slipping as tears formed in his eyes.
Shadow, please don't do this.
Goodbye, Sonic.
Shadow then slipped from Sonic's grip before rushing down to save the black hedgehog.
Shadow, no.
All that Shadow could remember was things fading to black as he heard Sonic cry at his name one more time before everything went to black.
This is what you wanted, wasn't it? Maria.
In his mind, all Shadow could remember was closing his eyes as he accepted his fate. The next thing that he could remember was losing consciousness with him seeing nothing but pure darkness. It wasn't until Shadow awoken that he felt himself laying on a field of grass. The black hedgehog picked his head up slowly while looking around him. He looked above him to see himself laying against a tree as he could only ask himself,
Am I dead?
You long enough to get here.
That voice made Shadow completely frozen in time as he could only turn around slowly as he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Besides him was someone he would never thought he would see again, but things would not seem that way as the person that was sitting next to him. It was Maria.
Maria?
Hello again, Shadow. It's nice to see you again.
It didn't take too long as Shadow ran into her arms while hugging her as she could only hug him back as the black hedgehog then started to cry.
Maria, I'm so sorry for everything.
Shadow, it's okay. What happened long ago wasn't your fault. I would never blame you for that.
But I broke your promise. I got people hurting.
Shadow, listen to me. In the end of the day, you kept your promise. You saved them, Shadow. You gave them a chance like I told you to.
Then it's all over then. I could join you now, right?
Maria could only look down sadly as they departed from their hug as she looked down to the black hedgehog.
Shadow, just because you kept your promise to me doesn't mean I'll let you join me so quickly, and I think your friends would say the same.
But what about you? I don't want to live on without you.
Shadow, my life ended 50 years ago on that ark. Ever since then, when I waited for you, I thought of only one thing. Shadow, I want you to continue living and for you to live the best life you can possibly have before joining me here. You have a whole life ahead of you, Shadow. A chance to be happy and to be with a new family. Don't waste that.
I don't want to leave you here.
I'm afraid that isn't my choice, Shadow. We don't have much time left.
Hurry up, wait, please don't go. I can't do this without you.
This is goodbye for now, my friend. Always remember that no matter what happened in life, there will always be ups and downs, new challenges that you may need to face. But I know that you'll push through. Please, enjoy life for the both us, okay? I'll be waiting for you on the other side, Shadow. That's my promise to you now. I love you. Forever and always. Take care, Shadow.
Maria.
Shadow then felt himself feeling dizzy as he heard his name being called multiple times as it didn't take too long before Shadow snapped back to reality. Shadow had awoken slowly as the black hedgehog could barely see anything. That was until he felt tears falling on him as he looked up to see sunset shimmer. She could only smile after seeing Shadow waking up as Shadow felt himself being hugged, which confused him since the last thing he remembered was falling down to the planet.
I'm so glad you're okay.
How did... I thought...
Sonic saved you just in time. He brought you here.
The black hedgehog could only look to see Sonic back to his original blue color as he smiled towards Shadow.
It's about time you woke up, Faker.
Why did you save me after everything I put you through?
I once asked him the same thing. He told me that everyone deserves a chance to start over, to make new friends, a new family, and so I did. You could do the same.
Shadow could only look to the others to see how supportive they were of him as Shadow could only look over to Sonic and Sunset Shimmer.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without all of you.
Hey, it's what we do, speaking of which, where is Eggman?
The others looked around to see the Mad Doctor nowhere in sight as Tom could groan in annoyance.
He must have snuck out when we were watching the battle. Must have taken one of the pods and left.
Who cares? If that creeps decides to come back, then we'll stop him like before. Right, Sonic?
Of course. I like to see him try again.
I can't believe that it's all over now. We could go back home now.
It almost feels like a dream.
Sonic could only stretch his body before he spoke calmly.
Since this is all over when we get back down on the planet, I'm taking a long vacation on the beach.
I for one agree with him on that part. A day at the beach would be much appreciated.
Oh yeah! Beach day!
You sure it's a good idea we did just save the world not too long ago?
Why not? Don't you think we all deserve a break from that crazy adventure we just had?
Then it's settled then. Let us return back to the planet to have this so-called beach day.
Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
Later, everyone started to chat with one another as Tom and Maddie wanted to get to know these girls that Sonic had befriended. Although things seemed perfect, he could only notice a familiar black hedgehog acting distant despite being forgiven. Shadow could look through the glass window below. He could the planet as the blue hedgehog approached beside him.
Hey, Sheds. What you feeling?
To be honest, I don't know what to feel right now. This all just feels like some weird dream.
Tell me about it.
Sonic and Shadow could only remain silent, with the only noise that could be heard were the sounds of their friends talking with one another. That was until Sonic looked over to the black hedgehog before speaking in a soft tone.
If you don't mind me asking, what was it like 50 years ago with Maria?
Shadow remained silent before taking in some air before sighing.
It was one of the best moments of my life despite feeling trapped here. It was just me, the professor, and Maria. She would always try to make me happy and did whatever she could to help me whenever I needed someone to talk to. She would sing, dance, read bedtime stories, and play with me. She was my only friend that I ever had. Losing her that day when they invaded just made me...
Lose control.
Yeah.
It hurts when someone you care about gets killed, especially when you feel you're responsible for it. No matter what anyone says, we both know that feeling would never go away even when we tried to think otherwise. But what I've learned so far in this crazy journey of mine is that we shouldn't gloat about what happened in the past and instead push into the future. That's what Longclaw would have wanted for me. I think that's what Mario would have wanted for you as well.
How can you be so sure about that, Faker?
I don't know. All I know is that I have hope that you will.
Shadow looked over to see Sonic giving him a reassured smile on his face. The black hedgehog could only see a resemblance of Maria's smile on the blue hedgehog face as he could only show a smile back.
You know, I think she would have liked you.
I wouldn't blame her. Everyone wants a piece of me nowadays.
Keep telling yourself that, Faker.
Hey guys, come over here.
Sonic and Shadow turned around to see Sunset Shimmer waving at them to come over as the hedgehog looked at each other with confused expression before walking towards her and the others.
Alright, what's happening this time?
Just hear me out. Before we leave and head back home, can we take one photo together, please? Just for memories.
I don't see why not. Come on, everybody.
And just like that, everyone got inside the group photo as Pinkie Pie took the photo as it clicked once, showing everyone smiling while Shadow and Knuckles looking oddly confused. A few days later, we cut to Sunset opening her book and writing to Princess Twilight.
Dear Princess Twilight, I know it's been a while, but I have so many things to tell you. It's been a crazy adventure ever to save the planet from, well, it's complicated. But what I've learned through my adventure is that I can't always stay in the past and gloat about it. Things just happen in life and sometimes there's nothing we could do about it. But that doesn't mean we should let those mistakes in the past affect what we want to be now. Not everything is gonna be bright and colorful as we want it to be, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try and make the best of what we can. Sincerely, yours, Sunset Shimmer.
Hey, Sunset. You joining or what?
Sunset Shimmer could only close her book before putting it away and walking to the field where the whole gang could be seen in a baseball field. Applejack was shown preparing to throw the ball as Knuckles then grabbed the bat, which he prepared to swing it right this time. Sonic and Pinkie Pie could only sit in the sidelines as they were the announcers for the game.
Back in the baseball field once more. We are joined with 7 new players.
Will Applejack stand a chance against the strong, fearless Echidna warrior, or will she wall Mr. Wolf at his hands?
You ready to settle this, Knuckles?
Always in base of ball. Show me what you could do.
Remember, guys, this is a normal game, so no magic or super abilities.
Yes, she's got a point. I don't want to be sent to the hospital anytime soon.
Applejack then stared down at Knuckles as she then threw the ball normally, which Knuckles being able to swing the bat which hit the ball up in the air.
Yes, victory is mine!
However, a ball was soon caught by a familiar black hedgehog, as he caught the ball with only one arm while the other arm was crossed. Knuckles stared in shock as Shadow tossed the ball to Sunset Shimmer, who could only feel bad for the red echidna.
Sorry, Knux, looks like Shadow beat you to it.
You will pay for this, hedgehog!
Sonic could only sit down near Tom as they watched the others play as they had father and son time.
So these are the people you hung out with. They seem like nice people. I just never thought you would make friends with a girl group.
Tell me about it. Why didn't you mention girls being difficult?
Well, sometimes you just gotta deal with it. Seems like you've learned through experience already.
By the way, are we planning on heading back home?
Tom could notice Sonic looking the other way sadly as Tom could only reply back to his son.
Well, Maddie and me talked about it and we decided maybe it would be best to move here.
Wait, really?
Why not? You've made friends here that you don't want to leave. Plus, we really didn't want to deal with Gun anymore, so we thought it would best to move here, where it's safer.
Tom could only feel the blue hedgehog wrap his arms around him as Sonic hugged him tightly before departing.
Thanks, Dad.
No problem, son.
Hey, Sonic, you gonna join in or what?
We're all waiting for you, man. Shadow insisted that he be the pitcher.
Sonic and Tom could only look at one another before nodding at one another before Sonic dashed over to grab the bat as Shadow prepared to throw the ball.
Ready, Faker?
You know it?
Sonic and Shadow's eyes glowed as electricity sparked the area around them.
Oh boy, here we go!
From far away on a small hill laid a small tree with a young girl sitting down as she could only watch the group of friends enjoying themselves, which caused her to smile. She could only speak in a soft tone while looking at one of them.
Looks like he's fitting in just fine.
Maria could only close her eyes before letting herself disappear as she slowly started to fade away. Back on the Space Colony Ark, 2 pictures could be seen on a shelf in Maria and Shadow's room. One with just Shadow and Maria, the other with Shadow the others. Both pictures were still intact and showed Shadow smiling in both of them.
Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog!